sand pit for her kids to play in. She bought 38 bags of sand. Each bag of sand cost $15.65, and she paid $30.75 to have them delivered. What is the total cost that she paid? So we've got a few things going on here. First of all, we know that she bought 38 bags of sand. And we know that each bag costs $15.65. We also know that she paid to have them delivered, which cost them $30.75. These are two separate things going on, but it all contributes to her total cost. Now, what would be the first thing you would do? The first thing I would do is I would multiply 38 times $15.65. We have no idea how much she spent on the sand so far, so we have to figure out how much she spent on the sand. We know that the first bag would cost $15.65, the second bag would cost $15.65, the third bag would cost $15.65. So we need to do 38 times $15.65. Well, $15.65 goes on top because it has more digits, and then 38 goes on the bottom. We start with 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40, so I write down a 0, and I carry my 4. Then I have 6 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 4 gives us 52. So we write down a 2 and carry our 5. Then we have 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40, plus the 5 that's right there gives us 45. So we write down a 5 and we carry our 4. Then we have 1 times 8. 1 times 8 is 8, plus the 4 right here gives us 12. We finished with our 8, and we're on our next row now. So we go to our 3. Now, since we're on our second row, we add a 0. Then we have 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, so I write down a 5, and I carry my 1. Then we have 3 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18, plus the 1 gives us 19. So we write down a 9, carry our 1. Then we have 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15, plus the 1 up here at the top gives us 16. So we write down a 6, and we carry our 1. And then we have 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is 3, plus the 1 that's up here at the top gives us 4. Add it all together. 0 plus 0 gives us 0. 2 plus 5 gives us 7. 5 plus 9 gives us 14, so we're down a 4 and carry our 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 6 is 9. 1 plus 4 is 5. We have 2 decimal places here. None on the second row, so we'll have 2 decimal places here. So on sand alone, she spent $594.70. But that's not all she spent. She also spent $30.75 to have it delivered. The delivery cost just happens once. Imagine ordering a pizza. They do not charge you a delivery for every single pizza that you order. They just charge you a delivery fee for the whole order, right? So the $30.75 just gets added onto our total. So we do $594.70 plus $30.75. 0 plus 5 gives us 5. 7 plus 7 is 14, so we write down a 4, carry our 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 9 plus 3 is 12, so we write down a 2, carry our 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. So that's $625.45. The next one says fill in the diagram with whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, and natural numbers. So we just need to put these in order. Remember, we have rats in Walmart, naturally count. So the R stands for rational numbers. That's what goes first. The I stands for integers. So that's what goes second. The W stands for whole numbers. So that's what goes third. And then N stands for natural numbers or counting numbers. So that's what goes last. This one says, what is the value of the expression? We have 5 2/5 times negative 15.75. Now, when we have a fraction and a decimal, we cannot have that happen. So we either have to turn our fraction into our decimal, or we have to turn our decimal into a fraction. In this case, we're going to turn our fraction into a decimal, and we're just going to see what happens. So we have 2/5. For that, I do 2 divided by 5. 2 goes on the inside because it's on top. 5 does not go into 2, so we have to add a decimal and a 0. Add a decimal up here at the top. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtracting that gives us 0. So 2/5 equals 0.4. So right here where it says 5 2/5, I would write 5 point, my 4 right there, times negative 15.75. Now, this right here, because we have two numbers that are right next to each other with no symbol in between them, is multiplication. So we do 15.75 times 5.4. 5 times 4 is 20, so we write down a 0, carry our 2. 7 times 4 is 28, plus the 2 that's up here at the top gives us 30. So we write down a 0, and we carry our 3. Then we have 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20, plus the 3 that's up here at the top gives us 23. So we write down a 3, and we carry our 2. Then we have 1 times 4. 1 times 4 is 4, plus the 2 that's right here gives us 6. We finish with our 4, 2, 3, and 2. So we're on our next row now. And when we get to our next row, we add a 0. Then we do 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, so I write down a 5, carry my 2. Then we have 7 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35, plus the 2 that's up here at the top gives us 37. So we write down a 7, and we carry our 3. Then we have 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, plus the 3 that's up here at the top gives us 28. So we write down an 8, and we carry our 2. 1 times 5 gives us 5, and then we add our 2, and that gives us 7. Add it all together, 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. 3 plus 7 is 10, so I write down a 0, carry my 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 16, so I write down a 6 and carry my 1. And then 1 plus 7 is 8. We have 2 decimal places here, and 1 decimal place here. So we will have a total of 3 decimal places. Next one, same thing is happening, except this time we have 5 3/4 times 8.5. So we need to turn our fraction into a decimal, and the way that we do that is by dividing. So I would take 3/4. 3 goes on the inside because it's on top. 4 goes on the outside. 4 does not go into 3, so we add a decimal and a 0. 4 goes into 30 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtracting that gives us 2. Add another 0, drop it down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20, so that worked out perfectly. We drop our 5 straight down, but instead of 3/4, we're going to put 0.75 times 8.5. We put the number with more digits on the top, so we have 7. Oh, this one over here, I forgot to mention. This is a positive times a negative, and a positive times a negative is a negative. Sorry, back to this. We have 5.75 times 8.5. We do 5 times 5. That gives us 25. So we write down a 5, carry our 2. Then we have 7 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Plus the 2 that's up here at the top gives us 37. So we write down a 7, carry our 3. Oh my goodness. What just happened? All right. Then we have 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Plus the 3 that's up here at the top gives us 28. Cross that off because we finished. And then we're on our next row, so we add a 0. Now we have 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40, so we write down a 0, and we carry our 4. Then we have 7 times 8. 7 times 8 is 56, plus the 4 that's up here at the top. 56 plus 4 gives us 60. So we write down a 0, and we carry our 6. Then we have 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. So we write down a 40 plus 6 gives us 46. Add it all together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 0 is 7. 8 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 6 is 8. And then 4 plus nothing is 4. We have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So we will have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. That was a positive times a positive, so it just stays a positive. This one says, Susie bought ice cream. She gave the cashier $10 to pay for 3 ice cream cones. The cashier gave her $3.49 in change. What was the cost of each ice cream cone? So here's what we know. She gave the cashier $10. We know that she bought 3 ice cream cones. And we know that the cashier gave her $3.49 back in change. What we do not know is the cost of each thing of ice cream. When we do this, the temptation is to divide 10 by 3. But that's not how this works. It did not cost $10 for the ice cream. That is not the cost. We have no idea what the cost was. We know that she gave the cashier $10, and we know that she got $3.49 in change. We don't know what she actually spent. It's kind of like when you go to the ice cream store and you give them $20 and then they hand you $2 back. That did not mean that it cost $20. It meant that it cost $18 because you gave them a $20, they give you $2 back, so it cost $18. So we have to figure out how much it actually cost her. So we do 10 minus $3.49 to figure out how much it cost. This 0 right here turns into a 10. This 0 turns into a 9. This 0 turns into a 9, and that goes away. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 3 is 6. So the ice cream cost $6.51. But that was for all 3 ice creams. We're trying to figure out how much each one cost. We know she bought 3, so how do I figure out how much one cost? We split the cost up into 3 ice cream cones, which means we're dividing. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, and that gives us 0. Drop down the 5. 3 goes into 5 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, and that gives us 2. Drop down the 1. 3 goes into 21 7 times. Bring that decimal straight up. Each cone costs $2.17. This one says there are 9 numbers that are classified incorrectly. Identify them and then write which category they should be in. So, rational numbers. Rational numbers are your fractions and your decimals. So when we look, negative 27 is not a fraction or a decimal. So that goes here. We'll classify it in a second. 0 over 10. 0 divided by 10, 0 divided by anything, actually equals 0. So 0 over 10 is also in a wrong spot because when it's simplified, it does not equal a fraction. 5 7/8 is perfect. You can't simplify 7/8, so that one's good. 3/4 is perfect. You can't simplify 3/4, so that one's good. Negative 8 divided by 8. Anything divided by itself gives you 1. And then you keep the negative with it. So negative 8 over 8 is classified incorrectly. Then we have 7 1/6. Integers are your negative numbers, no fractions or decimals. This right here has a fraction. So that's classified incorrectly. Negative 13, that's a negative number, no fractions or decimals. That one's good. 0 is not a negative number, is classified incorrectly. Negative 4 is a negative number, no fractions or decimals. That one's good. Oh wait, sorry, that one's good. All right, for whole numbers, those are whenever there is natural on there, just a 0. Nothing else can go into the whole number category except for 0. 6 1/4 is not 0. 0 divided by 12, we just talked about how a 0 divided by anything gives you 0. So this one's actually good. Negative 2/3 is not 0. So that one's classified incorrectly. For natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, ... So they're your positive numbers. They're your counting numbers. They're how you count, right? 5/3 is a fraction that cannot be simplified. We can't have fractions. That's classified incorrectly. I can count to 58. We're good to go. 12 divided by 12, while yes, is a fraction. When you do 12 divided by 12, it gives you 1. So that one's good. And then we have negative 41. You can't count negative 41 people. That doesn't work. So that is not 1. It's not positive. Natural numbers have to be positive. So now we're going to go through and we're going to actually classify these. Negative 27, how would you classify it? Negative 27 is an integer. It is a negative number, no fractions or decimals. 0 over 10, we talked about how 0 divided by 10 gives us 0. Where do all zeros go? Into the whole number category. We said that negative 8 divided by an 8 gave us negative 1. How would you classify negative 1? As an integer. 7 and 1/6, how would you classify it? Rational. Rationals are our only ones that can have fractions in their simplest form. 0, how do you classify it every time? Whole number. 6 and 1/4, how do we classify it? Rational. Negative 2/3, how do you classify it? Rational. 5/3, how do you classify it? Rational. Negative 41, how do you classify it? Integer. Moving on. We have 7 and 3/4 plus 1 and 1/4 plus 8 1/2. When we add fractions, what do we have to have? A common denominator. So we have a denominator of 4 and we have a denominator of 2. I'm only writing 1 4 because both of them are 4. For 4, our multiples are 4, 8, 12, 16, ... For 2, they are 2, and then 4. Hey, that works out really well because my other 2 already have a denominator of 4. So the only one I actually have to work on is my denominator of 2. How do we get from 2 to 4? We multiply times 2. So this 2 right here, I'm going to multiply times 2. And this 1 right here, I'm going to multiply times 2. So now we have 7 and 3/4 plus 1 and 1/4 plus 8. 1 times 2 gives us 2. 2 times 2 gives us 4. We add our whole numbers up together. We have 7 plus 1, which gives us 8. And then 8 plus 8, which gives us 16. Then we add our numerators. We have 3 plus 1, which gives us 4. And then 4 plus 2, which gives us 6. We can't have an improper fraction in our final answer, so we need to divide this. We do 6 divided by 4. 4 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract them, that gives us 2. So we have 16 plus 1 is a whole number. 2 is a numerator over 4. You can simplify 2/4 because they're both divisible by 2. 16 plus 1 gives us 17. And then 2 divided by 2 gives us 1. And 4 divided by 2 gives us 2. So that's 17 1/2. Mr. Jackson bought snacks for his son's football team. He bought 12 Gatorades and 25 apples. Use the information below to find the total of how much he spent. So we know that Gatorades cost $2.25 each. So if he bought 12 Gatorades and Gatorades cost $2.25 each, how do we figure out how much he spent altogether on Gatorades? We multiply it. So we do 2.25 times 12. 5 times 2 is 10, so we're done as 0, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Then 2 times 2 is 4. We finish with our 2. We're on our next row now, so we added 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Add it all together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 5 is 10, so we're done as 0, carry our 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 2 is 7. And we got 2 plus nothing. We got 2 decimal places here, so we got 2 decimal places here. The Gatorade cost us $27. For the apples, he has 25 apples, and they cost 89 cents each. How do I figure out how much he spent altogether on apples? We do 25 times 0.89. 5 times 9 gives us 45. So we write down a 5, and we carry our 4. 9 times 2 gives us 18. 18 plus 4 gives us 22. Finish with our 9, finish with our 4. We're on our next row now, so we add a 0. 8 times 5 gives us 40. So we write down a 0 and we carry our 4. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 4 gives us 20. Add it all together. We have 2 decimal places here. We have 2 decimal places in our answer. So we know how much the Gatorade cost, and we know how much the apples cost. How do I find out how much it cost him all together? We add 27 plus 22.25. 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 plus 2 is 2. Drop the decimal straight down. 7 plus 2 is 9. 2 plus 2 is 4. It cost him $49.25. Sarah needs 20.5 yards of fabric to make costumes for a school play. She has one piece of fabric that is 6 3/4 and another piece that is 8 1/2. How many more yards does Sarah need to make the costume? So we know that she has 6 3/4 and 8 1/2. We know that she needs 20.5. So what's my first step? My first step is adding 6 3/4 plus 8 1/2. I need to figure out how much total she has altogether. So I'm just going to add these two. Now, remember, when we add or subtract fractions, what do we have to have? A common denominator. We figured out in this problem up here that the common denominator between 2 and 4 is 4. And we have to multiply the 2 times 2. So we do 2 times 2. We do 1 times 2. So we have 6 3/4 plus 8 2/4. We add our whole numbers together. 6 plus 8 gives us 14. And then we have 3 plus 2, which gives us 5 over 4. We cannot have an improper fraction, so we do 14 plus, and then we have 5 divided by 4. 4 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, and that gives us 1. 1 right here is a whole number, and then this one right here is a numerator. So we have 1 1/4, which gives us 15 1/4. So she has 15 1/4, and she needs 20.5. So if I know that she has 15 1/4 and she needs 20.5, how do I figure out how much more she needs? I would subtract it. So I'd do 20.5 minus 15 1/4. Once again, when you add or subtract fractions, what do you have to have? A common denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 1/2 to have a denominator of 4, because we know that 2 and 4, their least common denominator is 4. So I multiply times 2 here, and I multiply times 2 here. So I have 20 and 2 over 4 minus 15 and 1 over 4. 20 minus 15 gives me 5. And then 2 minus 1 gives me 1/4. So she needs 5 1/4 more yards. Last question. Kylie is selling brownies at a bake sale. She made 150 brownies. A third of the brownies are plain, 3/10 have sprinkles, and 1/5 have chocolate chip. The rest have cookie dough inside. How many of the brownies are covered in sprinkles? So what we need to do, we know that 150 brownies are for sale, and 3/10 of them are covered in sprinkles. Usually when you see this right here with all of these dots, you're going to be multiplying, because 3/10 of the brownies are covered in sprinkles. So I do 150 times 3/10. Put that 150 over 1. Do tops times tops, bottoms times bottoms. 150 times 3. 0 times 3 is 0. 5 times 3 is 15, so we're down to 5 and carry our 1. 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 is 4. That gives us 450 over 10. The great thing is when you divide by 10, if you got something that ends with zeros, you'll just cross them out if they both end in 0. And you have 45 divided by 1. Anything divided by 1 is itself, so there are 45 brownies covered in sprinkles. Then it wants to know how many have cookie dough. Now, when you get to your test, this question is going to be bonus. The one that has the part 2, it's bonus. But I'm going to show you how to do it. So 3/10 are covered in sprinkles. 45 of them are covered in sprinkles. 1/5 have chocolate chips. That means I do 1/5 times my total number of brownies, which is 150. Put it over 1. 150 over 5. 15 divided by 5 gives me 3. And then we just tack on this 0 onto the end. So 30 of them have chocolate chips. So we got 45 and we got 30. And then we know that a third of them are plain. So we say 150 times 1/3. Put a 1 under it. Oh my goodness. 150 times 1 is 150. 1 times 3 is 3. 150 divided by 3. 15 divided by 3 gives us 5. Tack on that 0. So we know that 50 plus 45 plus 30 do not have cookie dough inside them. So that gives us 125 don't have cookie dough. We know that there are 150 for sale, so we just subtract 150 minus 125. The 0 turns into a 10. This 5 turns into a 4. 10 minus 5 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. There are 25 with cookie doughs inside them.